everyone in North America, I said it. This uniform makes some of us crazy. This uniform we wear, it makes some, I don't know what it does to us, but when we put it on, it transforms us into some other type of being. I mean, I'm serious. I've seen it happen. We don't know how to talk to people anymore. We have to maintain, all the knowledge has to be here. You come to me for information. I don't come to you. You come to me. I give you and I feed you the information as I see fit, like crumbs. That's what we do. That's why it is important as area coordinators that you train your directors and your assistant directors. Why the assistant directors? Your assistant directors need to understand how the ministry works, so if something does happen, you have trained someone to step into the role. It's all for the security of the club, to make sure that the club continues to progress. If a club fails of 40 or 50 kids, 20 kids, it doesn't matter how many. If a club is failing, you don't have leadership in that club. Why? Because you haven't trained someone to come behind them. You might get pushback from club directors. Watch out for those. Watch out for those individuals. The pushback people, because the pushback people want to maintain control of the club. What are we going to go through in this session? Crafting and mentoring proficient uniform ministry club directors. We say uniform ministry because Pathfinder Adventures are uniformed ministries. They're the uniform part of the youth department. It is expected that the area coordinator understand what is required to operate an efficient Pathfinder club. There are many ways that this can be done, but one of them, and the primary objective, is to assist the club director with reference to the leadership of the club. What are your expectations? What is the bar? You have to set the bar in the area. It doesn't matter how big the club is, how small the club is. It's not about drum corps, it's not about drill team, and it's not about color guard. I was discussing yesterday, these are nice things to have, okay? I'm not putting drum corps ministry down. I'm not doing it. I can't do it. I wrote the manual for North America. I know the effect of drum corps ministry, and I know the madness that I've seen in it. I've seen clubs where the drum corps ministry became the club. It became the club. The only reason why the kids came was for drum corps. Forget the curriculum, forget the honors, all of that stuff that makes the Pathfinder ministry, all they came for was drill team and color guard. So I'm asking you, support those ministries, but they have to understand drum corps, drill team, and color guard, it functions like a university. Think of the Pathfinder Club as like a university, where the Pathfinder Club in of itself is the university, the school. Drill team, color guard, and drum corps, these are extracurricular activities. They like the track team, the football team and the basketball team. You have to be a member of the school. And you have to be doing well in school in order to participate in these activities. The school, those events don't make the school what it is. Okay? We have to look at it that way. The area coordinator is under obligation to assist in every way possible. Topics of discussion. The middle two, we are merging, so you're not missing anything. We just took those slides out and we put them in this one. Support the club director, the club calendar, very important topic. Pastoral support, promoting club reporting, key topic. Area and district meetings, we're going to touch on that once again. Leadership training, camp education, and identifying relevant resources. These things, when implemented correctly to the club director and its leadership, you have a strong chance of having a successful club. Your director will be trained to build the club. They'll be trained to look outside the box to see how they can go into the community and expand the club. Support the club director. Remember we had a little graph yesterday that showed the 5 points? Well, we're going to focus now on the area coordinator, the club director, and the church. This is at the church level. We have clubs where the pastor and the director of the Adventure or Pathfinder Club do not get along. And if they do get along, that's a good thing. If they get along, that's great. But we need to help the pastor understand the importance of the Pathfinder and Adventure ministry. Not all pastors, they're not on the same playing level. They're not. Pastors who come to church, they have a job to do. They have a mission. Getting involved in certain ministries, I know some pastors, yeah, you're a Pathfinder club, you wear uniform. You're looked at as a parade thing. You're looked at as just a uniform children. Don't understand the importance of the ministry. Area coordinator, it is our duty to educate the pastor on how to function with the Pathfinder Club, how they could be used as a strong tool to support the clubs in their church. If you win the pastor, you have the pastor's support at board meeting, at business meeting, you can get a whole lot of things accomplished. Amen. But you have to show the club director how to tap into that resource. You have to show the club director how to tap into the resources of their church. And one of them is to have a relationship with the pastor of the church. Supporting the club director also includes expecting the highest levels of maturity and competency concerning the Pathfinder ministry. What does that mean? Your club director should understand all aspects of the club. They have to understand every aspect of the club. It's not just a position and you put a director strip on you and that just makes you the leader of the club. What tools are you going to equip that person with to be successful in club leadership? The youth directorate will expect the cooperation of the area coordinator to move the ministry forward according to the guidelines that have been established. The youth director is expecting each of you, based on the program that has been established by him, to move ministry forward. So as area coordinators, we don't reinvent the wheel. We assist in how the wheel is to be established, which you do here. But when we go out, it is expected of us as area coordinators to follow through with the program that has been established. For example, you talk about Youth Congress, right? You have Youth Congress coming up, you have Youth Summit coming up, you have all of these events coming up. It is expected that you as an area coordinator support these functions. Right? Yeah, it is expected. So how can you as an area coordinator create your own program on the same date that Pastor Shep has his program? It cannot be done. How can you have a conference camporee organized by the youth director and you turn around and you have your own area camporee on the same day? You can't do stuff like that. That shows that there is a break in leadership. That's the message that you're sending to the directors and to the Pathfinders. There is a break in leadership, a big rift. And you don't want things like that to happen. You have to be in full support. Mind you, you may not like all of the things that come down the pipe. That's okay. But it's our duty as coordinators to support the program. Leadership ability of the area coordinator directly impacts the ministry and its club directors from the local conference level. Although the area coordinator assists the youth department in arranging club programs and activities at the conference level, individuals involved in the overall implementation process. This is you. When the program comes down, we are expected as coordinators to implement the program, not an alternative to the program. You have a big job to do in the area. The club directors and their staff are looking to you as the area coordinator to lead. Club calendar. How many of you look for a club calendar from your directors? What is the importance of it? To understand what is going on at the club level. What program is in place? What is the director planning to do throughout the year, throughout the quarter, on a weekly basis? What is the program? What are you doing to move ministry forward? If a director cannot produce a calendar, then that director needs to have a visit and to have a talk. The director needs to create a calendar to show the youth department, to show the area coordinators what they are planning to do on a regular basis. What trips are you planning to go on? How are you going to go on these trips? What are you planning to do as far as community outreach? What do you plan to do with the club in supporting other clubs? Where on your calendar are you supporting area events or conference events? Their club calendar should not contradict what's on the area calendar or on the youth director calendar. Some directors are so anti-conference that they purposely schedule major events in their club on conference calendar days. Purposely do that. It's not right, and that's happening at the club. Why? Because the power, quote unquote, is in the church. So if they have the church backing them up with the nonsense, which happens, if you have that happening, you have to report that to your youth director. They have to know what is going on, because your youth director needs to get involved with the pastor. Listen, what's going on? I'm looking at your club calendar and they're planning events on the same day we're trying to do events for the conference. Why is your church not supporting? That's for the youth director to get involved in. But the only way they're going to find that out is that if you as an area coordinator is doing your job and getting that information. You have to pull this information out of the club. What are you doing? Club calendar, very important. The club schedule serves to answer a number of important questions. For example, when does the club meet? Are you meeting once a week? Twice a week? Are you meeting twice a month? Are you meeting on Wednesday evening? Are you meeting Sunday? Are you meeting Saturday? How is the club meeting? How is it structured? Our trip schedule. Once a month, a club should be going on a trip. Once a month, a club should be going on some type of outing. The ministry is not sitting down in a building doing club work. That is not ministry. It is not. I'm sorry. That's not ministry. The curriculum was not intended for that. School takes place from Monday to Friday, not Monday to Friday and then Sunday or whenever you have club meeting. Many of our directors don't understand, how can I put this? They look at they've been brought up in Pathfinder ministry as if it's school, or an adventure ministry like it's school. It's to be conducted like school. It is not school. It is a ministry. And going on trips supplements the ministry. It's outreach plan. How are the Pathfinders active in church? How are they active with junior deacon, junior deaconess, in community service in the church, ushering in the church? One of the key things, there are individuals right now sitting in congregations that are so prepared financially to support the club. But you know why they won't do it? Because you don't ask and they don't see the Pathfinders. They don't see them. Get them ushering. Get them on the pulpit on Sabbath. Let the people know we're in uniform, we're active. Therefore, when it comes time for you to request financial assistance from members, they know who they are. They see them. They're active. And you will not have so much of an issue. You have to educate our directors. Get them out there. Get them out there supporting the pastor. Support the different ministries of the church. Get them involved. You have to get them involved. The uniform is not just for parade or for things that take place in the club. Get them involved in the church. Do you know how many parents are sitting in the audience that are looking for something for their niece and nephew and grandson and granddaughter to go into? You would answer so many of those questions if they see a Pathfinder. What is that? What is that uniform? What are they doing? You know what? Jerry and his bad self and his sisters, all of them need to be up doing that thing. All of them. Your club can grow just by seeing the uniform. You need to see it. Our district and area conference-wide events on the schedule. We talked about anti-conference and anti-area folks. You have to deal with that, nip that in the bud through their calendar. It is painful when you hold back a youth because of the attitude that the leader has against the conference or the area. You hold them back from conference events. You hold them back from area camps or some type of area thing that has been organized because you have a problem with the conference or the youth director. That's nonsense. That's nonsense. You have to support the conference events. How is the conference supposed to build strength if the weakest link remains weak? I encourage you. I hope between yesterday and today that as coordinators we see the significance of our role as coordinators and the things that we have to do. When is their Pathfinder Day? Every Pathfinder Day event should be on the calendar. You know when their Pathfinder Day is. Why? You can gather support to support each other's Pathfinder Day. One of the jokes, where I come from in Northeastern, one of the jokes, the area coordinator says from August through December, they wear their uniform every Sabbath. Every Sabbath. Every Sabbath. Why? There's something going on and they support each other. There's something going on every Sabbath. I mean, it drives you crazy. Every Sabbath they on Facebook got a picture going on. Oh, we're over here. Oh, they're here. They're here. Support one another. That's how you build strength. That's how you build camaraderie as a conference. That's how it's done. Conferences are big for a reason. They support one another. They build one another. That's how it works. You have to support one another. And not just talking about going over to this next club. It's going over and sharing resources, sharing knowledge, sharing everything you have, and strengthening one another. You'll be surprised at how strong of a conference and how strong of an area you will become when you do that. You have to let go of self. Let it go. You are not impressing me when you show up at a camporee and you all decked out, got your uniform and got all your drums and all your drill and everything, and you're the only one in your conference. You don't impress me. You don't impress. You show that all you show me is you sorry. And I love to see clubs like that because I'll go to them and I'll tell them you're sorry. I'll tell them, what are you doing to support your conference? You got to be in the front of the parade and everybody else got to march behind you. Nah. Brother Brown.
So what happens if you have a pastor who will not allow you to have a Pathfinder status?
Oh no.
And his thing is that, okay, he feels like that will isolate the other kids. We'll have a youth day, which is fine. Pathfinder Sabbath, you can't have that.
Okay, this is how you deal with a pastor like that. Number one, you have to educate this dude to understand that Pathfinding is a worldwide organization. There are worldwide Pathfinder days.
He knows that.
Then he has to be told he has to have a talk with Pastor Shepard. He has to have a talk with Pastor Shepard because there's no way you can isolate a ministry because you feel, let's put it like this. Youth ministry, there are many entities of youth ministry, as you know. You have your AYS, you have your Adventure, your Pathfinder. In some conferences, you have your soccer league, your sports league, which consists of soccer, track and field, swimming, all these other things that fall under youth ministry. You have the medical cadets that fall under youth ministry. You have a whole lot of things that fall under youth ministry. So to lump everyone in one category, they don't understand that youth ministry is the largest ministry in the Adventist church. It is. It is the largest. That's the way it is. He has to understand that. He doesn't. Because if he did, he would understand that there is an Adventure Day.
10 years, and we've not had one Pathfinder Sabbath.
What church is that? I like to.
Riverside.
Oh, this dude over here?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. I gotta be. I'm sorry.
I love it. Don't get me wrong. He's doing great things, but he doesn't recognize Pathfinder the way he should be recognized. He just doesn't. And I've had long talks till I've been blue in the face.
Nah, he needs to be. You know what? I'll write this. He has to. You know what? There's a. You know what, Brother Brown? You know what you can do?
What's that?
Go to Advent Source. There's a book entitled Pathfinder Club Leadership Series for pastors and staff.
You can read it, yeah.
Yeah, give them that book as a gift. Okay? It's a silver book. It's about a little thick. It's an easy reader. Yes, ma'am.
I've been told by pastors in my area that it's not on his front burner right now. He said, I understand what Pathfinders is, so what we did is we got their kids to come over to our club. But he won't support Pathfinders at all.
You know what I suggest? With pastors like that, the way you deal with them, there's a special way you have to deal with them, and it has to come from the conference level. Pastors like that, all right, this is a suggestion.
Can I say that he used to be in a conference as an officer?
As a youth officer?
A youth,
Youth director?
he,
Youth director?
he used to be a youth director?
I don't want to throw him under the bus.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
That's all right. It's okay. I said mine. That's mine.
Oh, and let me help you out with something.
Let's say something here. Okay, you go to your youth director talks show, your president of your conference talks show. We have a union, then we have GC.
That's right.
So
Keep
if
going.
we can't get what we
That's
got
right.
done a conference, you go to your union.
You can do that.
And then you go to your GC.
Let me tell you, don't look at the church, believe it or not, the church, and this is on a side note, I don't want to take it too much, the church, and correct me if I'm wrong, Pastor, is upside down leadership. Upside down leadership means that the power is here. The power is not here.
That's right.
The power is here. You can call your youth director, you can call the union youth director, you can call, and you know what? In fact, the youth director and the union youth director can decide that they want to meet with all the pastors and educate them, clown. Oop, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Don't tell her that. I said, don't tell her I said that.
Make sure you edit that, Cedric.
No. You have to educate them. Some youth directors see that there is a problem with the pastors when it comes to youth ministry. It's on the back burner. They don't want to finance them because they look at Pathfinder and Adventure Ministries as a financial burden. They look at that. They look at them as a financial burden. And you have to change that perception. You have to change that. Some of them feel that, once you got the Pathfinder, they're going to take over the church and everything. They have to understand what Pathfinder ministry is. And you may have to, you see this upcoming workshop you have, the Youth Summit? You may want to have a seminar for pastors.
Yes, sir.
And invite other youth directors or invite the union youth director, invite the division youth director to come and speak to the pastors. That's an option. Have a pastoral track. You have an adventure track, right? You have a Pathfinder track. You could have a pastor's track. And have pastors come in and sit down and understand the value of youth ministry and break it down. It's an idea. It's an idea. Is there time allotted for special guests? Meaning, instead of having just the staff and leadership of the club present things to the club, you can invite individuals from the congregation, invite individuals from the community to educate on honors, educate on different parts, make the club a part of the community. You can invite the police department, invite the fire department, invite a doctor or a nurse, invite someone who is attached to some of the honors. You can invite someone in the medical field who could probably teach all of the medical honors. There's so much. You can invite a mechanic to educate let me tell you, when I was in the 8th grade, I remember Mr. Bernard, remember what he did? He had a big old ugly station wagon. And all of us jumped in it, and this is during school. This is school hours. Got in the car, and we drove into an alley. Guess what was in the alley? A car engine. It was just sitting right there. He said, let's pick up the engine. We picked up the engine, put it in the back of his car, and drove it. And he taught us how to take apart an engine. Taught us different parts of the engine. Simple things like that. Can you imagine what that would do for young men? They see a big old engine, and they were like, well, what are we doing today? So we're gonna get dirty. We're gonna talk about engine parts.
He's a girl too.
Girl, yeah. I'm being honest. Yes. What would that do? Would the Pathfinder come back next week? Yes. Simple things like that. What if you had a mechanic that understood all the parts of the engine? By the time you're done, they say, okay, Pathfinders, there are 3 honors we're going to do. We're going to do small engines. We're going to do auto mechanics. We're going to do this. 1, 2, 3. 5 honors they earned, 1 shot. Why? Because you've caught the interest of their mind. That's what honors are for. Honors are to catch the interest of a Pathfinder, an adventurer's mind. That's what it's designed for. It's not designed for you to walk around Oshkosh looking like you done got all the honors. That's not what the honors are for. That's not what the honors are for. The honors are to catch the imagination of our young people, to open sparks in their mind. It's to open up interest. There's so many honors out there for our young people. So this shows the importance of the club calendar, and you need to see that from every club director. With this information, you can determine how clubs can work collectively. You could have 3 or 4 clubs that you could bring together to do honors, or you could bring together to do classwork. You can see the resources and things that are out there when you have all of your club schedules out there and see what's going on this day and this day. You can join forces. Instead of having them do individual things, bring them together. It also allows you to allocate staff accordingly. Some of them need staff training, correct? You can create an opportunity for staff training. Give you an example. About 2 years ago, I think it's 2 years ago, I think, we had a TLT seminar. And we didn't know how it was going to be attended. It was Brooklyn, North, South, Queens, and Long Island. Just those areas. Brooklyn, North, Brooklyn, South, Queens, Long Island. Those 4 areas. You know how many kids showed up? We had it at Linden Church. You know how many kids showed up for it? Yes.
10.
Nope. 106. 106.
What was this for?
It was a TLT seminar. Actually, no, it was more than that. It was more than that. I think it was close to 150. It was a lot of them. Why? Because they rolled like packs. You have to put the ministry in such a place that they roll like packs. Like a pack of wolves. That's how they roll. Because they get to a certain age. They do everything together. So you have to take advantage of that. You have a seminar, they all rolling together. They all come in here together. That's how they roll. When the ministry is like that, you will see a difference. They roll like packs. And you get them all involved. And it was a good seminar, good all day thing that they had there. And it was for the curriculum. But really good. But that should give an idea. Once you get their mind right, roll them like packs. Not just a little group here. Get their friends. Get them all into the ministry. Get them all into the ministry. When you do that, they will roll like packs. Pastoral, did I skip something? Okay. Pastoral support. It is important that the club director establish a relationship with their pastor. Despite what's going on, it's important. Stay on the pastor. Meet with them in his office. Meet with the first elder. If a situation arises in a church where you don't have pastoral support, or if the club director doesn't have the ear of the pastor, there are ways to go around that. In some churches, there are elders who are assigned to different ministries, correct? The elder that has been assigned to the Pathfinder ministry, make that individual a semi-part of the club. Invite that person to every meeting. Invite that person to every camporee. Make provision for that elder so you have that elder's ear and support when he faces the pastor. You know a pastor doesn't like a strong elder.
No.
They have a hard time with a strong elder who don't take no business. Imagine an elder like that in 100% support of Pathfinder ministry. You see, just because you may not have the guns, you can create the guns.
Amen.
You got to create the guns.
Yes.
Get your elders up in there. Get your elders to press him. So they'll corner him. Say, all right. That's what you got to do sometimes. You have to work it, and everything you do, you're doing it on behalf of your young people. You have to give your young people that voice. You're that voice. If you don't have proficient club directors, their voice will remain silent in the church. The club director will be made to understand the importance of establishing a solidified relationship for the benefit of the ministry. It is advisable for area coordinators to take the appropriate steps to set up pastoral meetings to address the progress concerns of the club. Important, the pastor needs to know who you are as the coordinator. They need to know, oh boy, here Brother Brown's coming. They need to know that. They need to know who you are. The more voices you have speaking on behalf of the ministry, the more the pastor will have no choice but to pay attention to the activities of the club. He has to understand, and that's part of how you break it down. He has to understand that this is not a fly-by-night organization, that it has elder support, it has coordinator support, which connects conference support. He has to understand that backward and forward, that there is support to the club, and he has no choice but to pay attention to the activities of the Pathfinder and Adventure clubs. There's a ways you have to work him. You got to work them. You got to work them to the point that when you have a Pathfinder parade, he's standing up in the corner with his hands in his pocket. You got to work him to where he attends. Let me tell you, a pastor is strong, yes, don't get me wrong. But when you have the ear of the youth director and the ministerial director and the secretary of the conference and the president of the conference, they know how to make pastors stand up with their hands in their pocket. Don't worry about that. You have to work, you just have to do your part and work it on behalf of the ministry. Because at the end, it's all about the young people. It's about the young people. You hear me talk about pastors, not in a bad way, but I've seen clubs literally destroyed because of bad leadership. I've seen clubs, I'm talking $20,000 worth of Pathfinder equipment that hasn't been touched in the last 10 years. Whoa. You understand what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking at that level. Young people gone and enemies of the church because of bad leadership, not addressing issues. As coordinators, let's do our part. We may not be able to fix everything, but we have to do our part. Promote club reporting. We talked about this yesterday. Coordinators, I'm encouraging you. There are certain things you should require of your directors. One is a calendar, and the second is the club report. Each director should submit a club report to you to let you know what has gone on throughout the month. It's not about the points.
So the report should go to the area coordinator and not the director of the conference?
They go to both.
They go to both?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and when the report is created, there are 3 copies that should be made. One copy goes to the area coordinator. The second copy goes to the conference, to the youth department. And the third copy, they should use to support what's going on in the church. What do I mean by that? Let me fix it. When board meeting comes, they use that report to show the board what they are doing in the club. These are the activities we did. This is what's happening. Why? Because when they start asking for funds or asking for support, the board already understands what the club is doing, what they have done. There is a historical trail. No barriers, no effort, yes, no problem. Because they know that the Pathfinders are active. They know the adventurers are active. So that report they could use as part of their, when they report to the church board. Or when at business meeting, they could report to the church what is going on in the club. So creating the report only benefits them. It benefits them and it benefits the club. It informs the youth department of the status and accomplishments of the club. It provides more detailed overview of how the club is progressing. Last but not least, it guides the youth director and the planning of more efficient and meaningful programs that impact the youth. You give ideas to the youth department and to the area coordinator based on the activities that are written down on the club report. Wow, this is a great thing that happened in this club. Maybe we could expand this at an area level. Or maybe the youth director says, wow, maybe we could make this a conference level thing. Ideas have been developed based on its roots. Where are the roots? In the club. In the club. So, coordinators, you have in your packet the club report, right? I am encouraging you to mandate that they fill out the report. It doesn't matter what they put on it, if it's poor, you have to understand the progress of the club. Some of you stated how it takes you a distance to go to visit clubs, right? Well, we have fax, we have email, we have phone, we have Twitter, Facebook, we have all forms of communication, okay? They need to fill that out and submit to you, and you sit down and you analyze what is happening with your clubs in your area. Part of it is the calendar, next part of it is the club report. Man, it's so necessary. Highlight areas where the club may be deficient. You could talk to the director. Well, I'm seeing that you did only one honor for the month. What's going on? What about the other honors? What's happening? You have information to counsel your directors. Direct and reallocate staff as needed. You notice I harp on this point all the time, right? Allocation of staff. I harp on that all the time because of this. Why have a strong club and everyone else around you is weak? Why? You will not progress. Why have a club shine all the time and all the other clubs around are dull? Or why have a bunch of clubs that shine and one club sitting there in the boondocks, no one supporting that club? Area coordinator, it is your job to prevent that from happening. Yes, Tony?
So if you have an area where most of the clubs are deficient in staff, then what do you do?
If you have a situation like that, then I encourage you to do a couple things. One, you could do, well, how is the Master Guide program in that area? Let's start there.
Well, I know for a fact there are master guys that are sitting at churches that refuse to lift a finger for help. And I've asked that before. I know some master guys that sit down in pews and just they don't get involved.
You know what I would do in a situation like that?
Somebody don't want to do it, right? This is a free service, so you can't say, you better do this or else.
You did part of, in your area, you are a part of the answer. You start to merge clubs.
Well, I've done it already.
Yeah.
I've done it already.
That's one of the,
Yeah, I want to say, Tony, in response to your question, Jackson, Mississippi, target areas, Mobile, I mean, you just go around the conference. I mean, it's really bad in some places, man, where people need to see, like, a busload of us come in.
They see.
What's that, Tony?
A unified front.
Yeah, if they see about 20 of us come in red shirts, I'm serious.
What's gonna happen?
Yeah, because we're gonna have to go in and show them, hey, this is a great thing, man. You guys are missing out, and we want to get you infected with this. But I'm telling you, that's what it's gonna take. And it's nice if one or two people go in, but if you get 20 or 30 of us go into a place, and we even Huntsville needs a shot in the arm. So I mean, that's what we're going to do. We're going to go around. We need to hit Lexington, and I'm telling you, man, Louisville is a drought. I mean, that Kentucky is in real bad shape. I mean, we probably need to go up there for like 2 months. To breathe any life back into Kentucky. I'm serious. It is terrible up there, man.
I have a suggestion.
yeah.
Vacation Bible School, is everybody still having good vacation Bible schools?
We have one now.
And I say that because that's a good time to gather youth. Because you get a community and you get the youth that's over in church, substitute and help. That's a perfect time to do Pathfinder registrations, visitor registrations, and get the parents of outside that community that you live in, get involved, and it's amazing what can happen when you do that in that respect. Because most churches are still doing vacation Bible school.
Wow. I know, yeah. I was trying to see how much I have left. Okay, let's go back to, okay. Let's keep it moving. Area district meetings. We talked about the importance of meeting frequently with your directors and your staff. Information that comes from the conference office goes to you. The information comes from you to share with your directors, including camp organization, including curriculum organization, all of the calendar for the area, all of these things take place at the area meetings. It's an opportunity for your directors to come together to share issues, to share resources, to share ideas. Strongly encouraged. You plan it well, come with the agenda, encourage the directors to come, make plans, even if you have to offer some snacks or something, a little breakfast or something. Make it in such a way that you can organize that meeting and make it something inviting for the directors. Doing that periodically, the directors would know what to expect and they would encourage their staff to come. Your area builds strength that way. Encourage you, area and district meetings. You could do it once a quarter if you want to. Once a quarter is good. I encourage you to do that. It gives you information to properly gauge the temperature of the area, of each club. This information you could take back to the youth department. Pastor, this is what's going on. I have clubs here, this is what's happening here, this is what's going on here. And you create a platform for your directors to share some of the problems, some of the successes, what caused it to be a success, and also share some of the problems that they've been having. Maybe another director has a solution to that problem. But this is an avenue for everyone to come together within the area to discuss the progress of the area and to help each of their clubs. You can also plan for club events at an area level. Organize an area camp. Get the leadership's fingers wet. Organize area-wide ministry, investiture services. When's the last time you had an area-wide investiture service or area-wide induction service? Those things are, well, they take planning. Don't get me wrong, they take planning. We have, every year, we do a conference-wide investiture. Some of the things have been pulled from the club. Note, all of these things have been designed for the club. But we've pulled it and tried to do them as a conference in order to revive the spirit of individuals to join, like the Master Guide class. I know 2 years ago when I was telling Pastor Shepard when Pastor Vandion went to, I don't know what's Vandion, who's the assistant? Wayne. Okay, he went up to Northeastern for our youth convention. And he got an opportunity to see the Master Guide investiture. And it was so funny watching him. He was like, dude, he's like, man, how many guys y'all got? But see, at the time, he went to one of the largest ones we had. We had about maybe 120 Master Guides getting invested. So he was at that one, and he was like, I just don't understand it. I mean, it was funny just watching him. I had to put my arm around him and said, dude, it's a lot of areas. And your classes are big, like our Hispanic ministry. They have about 20 or 30 individuals in the Master Guide class. Right now in my church, we have about, for Brooklyn North, we have about 10 right now. Brooklyn South has about another 10. Queens has about 20. So you have all, the Master Guide camp. Oh my gosh. Forget it. The Master Guide camp is like an area camp. You have about 8 or 9, well, how about 90, close to 100 Master Guide candidates? A little over 100 Master Guide candidates, and we divide them in teams. The blue team, the red team, the green team, the orange team, the yellow team, and they all, compete. Not really compete, but you do the activities, and each team scores points. Building the tower, and you got to stand on it. Tower has to be 10 feet tall. You got to rope the tower. Hilarious. But that's the kind of stuff that you're building. You're building that camaraderie. That's the type of thing you have to build. You have to build camaraderie. And those friendships last. 15 years later, we were in the same Master Guide class. That bond is always there. We went through it together. Encourage your pastors to do the Master Guide class.
Amen.
They will understand what the ministry is about. Let them pitch a tent, tie a knot, understand the curriculum. There are ways of doing it. Get them involved. In some conferences, I think, you don't know Newton Claycorn, do you? You heard of him?
I know him.
Pastor Claycorn. Pastor Claycorn was the former youth director of Northeastern a while back now. He left Northeastern as youth director and went to CUC in Jamaica, West Indies, Caribbean Union College in Jamaica, West Indies. Became the dean of the theology department. It is mandated that every individual that comes through the theology department be invested as a Master Guide before graduation.
Come on now.
Wow. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
Every one of them. They have to be invested as a Master Guide. What if Oakwood took that stand?
We'll solve all our problems.
You understand where I'm going? There are ways to skin a cat. There are ways to skin a cat. There are ways to do it. The thing about it, we have the information. How it's implemented is another thing. If Oakwood University decided to do that, if Andrews decided to do that, if all of our institutions decided, you know what, youth ministry is important. Master Guide is not just about youth ministry, it's about leadership. If Oakwood decided to do that, you would,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm throwing that out there, but by myself, I can't make those kind of changes. You have to be connected with somebody that's up there to see that vision. I'm not connected like that. But if you know someone who is connected like that, that's something that can work. It will work. It will work. Mandate Master Guide investiture for all of the theology students before you give them that degree. And you will see a change. Why? Think about it. Imagine a Master Guide, invested Master Guide coming to pastor your church.
Greg, I want to say Hillsview was fortunate enough to have a Master Guide as a pastor, Julian Johnson.
Yeah.
And we had no problem under his tenure for Pathfinder. It was nothing, just say a word, as far as Pathfinder, we got 100%.
Because he understood.
And before and after he left, back down to the same status quo.
Therefore, that status quo has to change. Imagine all your pastors are invested as Master Guides. It can happen, Reg. It can happen. The right person up there, the right person can do it. It can be done. Okay. Leadership training. As an area coordinator, it is your responsibility to provide training for your area. In all AYMT, it is the conference and the area coordinator. Area coordinators, you do not need to wait for the conference to do everything.
That's right. That's right.
You don't need to do that.
You're singing my song.
You don't need to wait for them. You can conduct training and you will have the support of the youth department. You can organize training in your area from top to bottom and you can implement. You can do that. I encourage you, organize training. Encourage attendance of your directors and your staff to attend training. Whether it's 10-hour, and you could do it as much as you want to. You could train. Get them trained. Get the resources in their hands. Get the information in their hands. Directors and staff need to be educated as far as their role is concerned. Some of our staff don't understand what it is to be a counselor. They don't know their responsibility. They don't know what their responsibility as a director or as an instructor. Did you know that you can increase the training capability of your club by having instructors? You know what an instructor does? An instructor is someone who is not necessarily a part of your club, but they have an instructor strip. They can have a uniform, but that's how souls are won into the club. Instructors have knowledge that they can give to the club, but they may not want to be a part of the club.
That's right.
But they can contribute. These become individuals who will go to camp to support you. Or individuals, hey, I'll set up the campsite. You know, there was an individual, the kids never had to set up camp. The instructor would load the stuff in his truck. He would drive to the campsite, find out where the club will be camped. He pitched all the tents, uniformed, everything for them. It was like a bomb dropped and he just went, it exploded, and all of a sudden the campsite appeared. Stuff was set up already for the kids. The kids would take it down, but he would set up everything for them. Instructor did that. Instructor would become a part of the club eventually, would become a director, became coordinator. Why? That's how the desire for club ministry is created. Training is essential, particularly where staff from other clubs can come together to share their issues, share their problems. If conference-wide training is not available, it is your responsibility as the area coordinator to provide that training. You have all of the resources in front of you. It will serve as a means of knowledge where club directors and staff from others can come together to share all of their issues. Leadership training. Club ministries training can take the form of one, AYMT, which is the Adventist Youth Ministries Training. This is a new way of how all of the training will be organized under one umbrella. And it will be organized under a curriculum that everyone will work from. In other words, you can't invent your own basic staff training material or invent material because you find it relevant. There is training available. There is a curriculum that's in place. Right now on the books, you have 6 that are available, and they have pins. Even the counselor, Jumpstart, there are some proposals to add some courses to that and redo it. Because the counselor is one of the most important roles in a Pathfinder club. It is a critical role. Your counselor must be trained well. Our clubs also need to understand that it's not about you being a master guide. That's not the goal of Pathfinder ministry. You have some that go through Master Guide class and they believe that all of a sudden, when they get that pin on their uniform, that qualifies them to be director or to be a counselor, and that's not the case. Understand something. Being invested as a Master Guide qualifies you to become a leader. It doesn't qualify you to lead.
Say that again.
You want me to fix it? You want me to say it again? You want me to fix it? Let's see it this way. Just because you are 18 years old and completed the requirements to become a Master Guide does not mean that you're qualified to take over a unit. You are a Master Guide, but you're not ready to lead yet. It takes maturity. It takes a level of spirituality. You did the curriculum, handwork. But there's a maturity, an experience level. There's an experience side that has to be accomplished. And some Master Guides are not ready for that yet. And as an area coordinator, you have to assist the club director to understand that. How can you put someone who is immature over a group of immature kids? It's an immature disaster. I'm going to share an experience with you. There was a camporee one time, many years ago, when I was a Pathfinder. All of the kids had planned to bring water guns and super soakers. And the directors and staff didn't know. Conference didn't know that. We went to camp. It was the biggest water gun fight in the history of the world. But guess what happened? We destroyed the campsite, and Pathfinder ministry was banned from camping in that state. Even clubs that live in the state could no longer camp in the state for a period of time because of that much damage and destruction that we did as kids. And guess who was leading the packs? Counselors. Counselors. It got so bad. You don't believe me? Ask Jasmine.
Okay.
It was that bad. It was that bad. They walked around with big garbage bags, collecting guns. It was a disaster. But just to show you, when you put immature individuals in charge of things, and they meet up with other immature individuals, it creates a disaster. Your most experienced staff members should be counselors. Camp education. Coordinators, I strongly encourage you to educate your directors and staff on the importance of preparing for camp. It will make life easy for you. Our directors need to understand camping and trips, that they must be well organized and well structured. They have to do their due diligence before they step on the bus. They have to. Or it will become your problem when they go to camp. You cannot walk away from a club that's in trouble at a camp. The key things you need to remember is called RAFT. R-A-F-T. RAFT. Say it with me, everyone. R-A-F-T. RAFT. RAFT stands for registration, aid, food, transportation. The key 4 aspects that a director must understand when preparing for a camp. Registration must get done. There is a cost for registration. I'm gonna throw out an example. You have your Union Camp or Oshkosh Camp. Registration must be paid. At the 2004 Camporee, do you know they had to make waves? I'll throw it out there, Northeastern. You know how many people came in under that second registration, under that second batch of registrations after it was closed? Guess how many from Northeastern? After it was closed, 1,000 more had to register from Northeastern. And they expanded it for the other conferences who, when the registration was closed, individuals did not get in. That's how it was so many people there. They closed the registration. Your registration has to be in. If it says August 15th, get up. Get the funds in by August 15th. Don't put the youth director in a situation where he has to go now to the committee and beg. Don't do that. Do your due diligence. There is an order. Registration first. When you get the registration taken care of, now you can beat up the church for everything else. But get the registration done.
Because I know Oshkosh, if you got the number in, the number of campers came in, if they came in before the closing day, Oshkosh could actually close registration before.
They did close it. It was closed. And then there was a special meeting where the conference, there was enough youth directors and they formed the United Front to present their case. That's right. That's right. Nah, they were serious. They were serious because it was an insurance issue. That's what, this year coming around, they gave you a number and they gave you a date. That's right. They said, this is it. We're not doing it next time. And they mean it. They don't care if there are 2 from your conference. They're not doing it. Do you know how many people were there on Sabbath at Oshkosh? Do you know how many people were on the grounds?
40,000.
I spoke to a security guard. I was at the South Gate. I said, hey man, what's up? Said, how many do you think are here right now? He said, oh, I know. About 70.
Whoa.
Yep. They're not gonna tell you that. You didn't hear that from me. It was a lot of people on the grounds. It was a lot. You could tell. You know when you could just feel? It was a lot of people on the grounds. You cannot do that. Registration, register, get it done. Aid. Reach out for aid in the church. Your papa or your PPA to donate canned goods, donate financial assistance. Get the aid done. Get it organized. Food. You know you're gonna need food. Schedule 3 meals on 2 meals on the first day we get there. 3 meals, 2 meals. Have your schedule, your menu. Put your menu on your camp kitchen So when your area coordinator, you or the club director walks to your camp, they could see what's being fed to the kids. There is an organized menu. Your Pathfinders know, day 3 is me, I'm doing breakfast. Everything is there. You know what's to be done. You can portion everything. Why? The food that you bring up should not be the food that you take back.
That's right.
All right?
That's right.
Organize it. You have to organize it. Get on top of your club director. You have got to organize this thing. It has to be done right. If you have 3 clubs that are going to come together, they have to work together as one club. They follow these things. Transportation. Organize your transportation from the beginning. If you know XYZ is the bus company you're going to use, a year from now or 8 months from now, long time from the thing, organize that. Transportation becomes a critical issue when you're traveling a long distance. How many drivers do you need? From here to Oshkosh, how many drivers do you need? You have to have 2. Therefore, if there's overnight stay, you have to accommodate 2 rooms. Why? You could have a male driver and a female driver, a male smoker and a male non-smoker. You have to have 2 rooms. All of these things have to be organized well in advance so you have no issue. What if it's one driver that takes you to the camp? Bus drives and stops at Detroit, picks up the other driver. You make room for one driver. You have to organize everything. Registration, aid, food, transportation. Directors must understand this concept and organize their camp. It has to be organized, well structured. When I went to Oshkosh in 09, I took the club. I knew that Monday would be hard. And Monday is when everybody was coming in. So, and I had to get there Sunday because I was in charge of the drum competition. So what did I do for Monday? Take a guess. They were the only ones that, when we set up camp, it was a nice campsite, there was nobody on the ground. So guess what do you think we did? Organized the trip at the water park, an hour away from the campground. Bus came back, put all the Pathfinders on the bus, get out. Have a good time. Had the whole camp for myself, was able to take care of everything. They had the time of their life. My time as a Pathfinder, I had the time of my life. Now I'm the leader. It's their turn. Organize it. I organized that trip, organized the registration for the thing. All they had to do was get on the bus, go. You can go all kind of places on your way to Oshkosh. You can stop at the Ellen White Estate. You can do all kind of things. You got to organize that thing. You got to organize that thing. Pull over here. Do drum practice. One time we had a bus. We were going to Beta. We got on the bus and drove over to a parking lot at 11 o'clock at night, beating drums in the neighborhood. Cops came around. Having a good time. No, organize it. Organize it. Let the kids, those kids still remember those good times. They still remember those things. But you have got to organize. Your directors need to organize. We're almost done. Okay, I'm getting into the aspects of the food. I'm gonna run through these extremely quick. Food. When you organize the food, know the number of campers that are attending. You have to know that because you're gonna base all your numbers on that. Educate your directors to analyze each of these things. The number of days that you're gonna be at the camp, the number of meals you're gonna serve. If you know it's 23 meals total for the camp, you provision 20 people for 23 days. And it'll give you an estimate of what you need to spend. Take that as a part of your aid. Reach out to individuals. Can you assist us with this? Can you assist us with that? Community service, we need your help. Can you do this? Can you do that? Get it all organized. Reduce the amount of food that you take up with you so you will leave with nothing coming on your way back. Transportation. What is affordable? Are you going to go by church van? Are you going to go by coach bus? Are you going to fly? Flying is faster, but it's extremely expensive. Why? You have to weigh all those bags. Load them up in a bus. If you're going to do that, make sure you have a trip well planned. We're going to stop here, or we're going to stop here. We're going to spend an hour here. Relax, stretch, organize it. Number of Pathfinders departing. If you know you have 30 Pathfinders, get a 50-seater bus. Stretch out, relax. Have the bus for yourself. If there's a club in need, you don't know what might happen. One time a club was stranded 15 kids. Had room on the bus. Loaded their stuff, loaded them. We going to the same place. Have fun on the way back. Accommodate for yourself, and in case of emergency, it's not going to break your bank, but organize it well. Organize the amount of equipment. You see this thing right here? Make sure your club directors know each Pathfinder is allowed one bag and one carry-on bag. That's it. One bag,
One bag,
one carry-on.
one carrier.
Shoot, I think.
And it doesn't have to be the big bag.
That's right.
The big,
You don't need that.
it's not the 45, 54.
You understand what I'm saying? Educate your club directors to make life easy for themselves. Educate them to do that. One carry-on. This is a bag that has your toothbrush or your little snacks in it. Take that bag on the bus with you. You can put it on the overhead. So you have room for all of your other equipment that needs to go on the bus. Identify relevant resources. Ensure that your staff, that your directors are on the cutting edge of ministry. The latest books that are out, all updates to the manuals, make sure that you are aware of them. There's a new honor poster that should be coming out. Make sure that your directors know the new honors that are available. Research on the stuff that has been approved. Create ways to let your club directors know that ministry is expanding and that your club needs to expand with it. You should know everything, that all of the changes that are going on in Adventure Ministry, so you can prepare your parents for the financial burden that's about to come. Keep them from buying things, knowing that it's going to change next year. If you know that the uniform is going to change, if you know patches are going to change, you have to be alert of those things. They're coming down the pipe. My wife goes crazy if I tell her, well, the patch is going to change again. How are you going to tell me that and I just bought the shirt? I don't want to hear it, and I know there are thousands of parents who don't want to hear it. Okay? If you know certain things are changing, for example, Northeastern just decided on, well, the union decided on the cords, or what we're going to wear. GC just came down a couple months ago and said, the cords are changing for the world. And the divisions now have to implement no more multicolor. Everyone's wearing a single cord, and nobody is wearing gold except them.
Except for GC.
GC level, whether James Black and above.
Conference coordinator.
Gold is out.
Out. They wrote it. They came out with it. And I should have taken a picture of the different colors.